to the Intimacy Chronicles. I want to say hello to YouTubers, Facebookers. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We have an exciting show for you this evening. I'm going to have CEO of Critique Me Boutique and Studios with us this evening. And she's going to be dishing the tea about all kinds of things. She has a couple of events coming up, so she'll be joining us at 7:30 tonight. And so let me open the show up by greeting my men's in them. To my right, looking a little bit tired, so I don't know if he had his leg up in the air all weekend or somebody else, or if he had somebody else's leg up in the air this weekend. But anywho, I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and I hope he's not gonna be dry all evening.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Big Nate, aka Dr. Love. What's happening? What's up, Keith?
You want to introduce?
To my right.
Rich, what am I this week?
Quiet storm.
Okay.
You don't know?
I want to be
Martin
fire.
Luther King.
I want to be fire and desire.
Okay, well, be fire and desire. But don't be no boring ass fire and desire.
California wildfire.
Oh my God. So how was y'all weekend?
Good weekend. Busy.
Good.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
You got a haircut?
Yeah, I usually get a haircut every 10 days or so.
All right. He up in here looking all cute. And so, Dr. Love, let me just ask you a question. Because you all can't, he's sitting to my right. And as I look at him, he looked like at any moment he's just going to fall out and start snoring. So what the hell is that all about?
That's funny. That's funny. It's just a typical Monday. Typical Monday, getting off work, battling the heat all day, working on hot engines. So it kind of like drains you. And then that I don't know what we had just got an hour ago.
I know, right?
That didn't help anyway. That was just tiring me out even more.
That's how it's been lately, though.
But other than that, I'm wired a little bit.
Well, if this is your
We're
wire, then
I'm getting there.
Lord help us. So I had a pretty good weekend. We went out to the Rusty Scupper yesterday for brunch. So that was really, really nice.
How was it brunch?
Oh my God, it is the best. And the bellinis and the sangria was just an added bonus. So that was really nice. Did I do anything Saturday?
I didn't know they served bologna.
Anywho, I'm not even, because I already see what kind of night it's going to be. But they had like everything, it seemed, on the menu. And it was like $45 per person. And your mimosas, bellinis, and sangria was included in that, as well as soft drink. So it was really nice. I would definitely give it a 5-star. We had a good time, and then I went up to the casino. But Friday, I got an award. Was it Friday? Yeah. So this is my award that I received last week, Friday, as a matter of fact, and it's the Ben Cardin Award. So let me read it to y'all, because I was so honored to be able to receive this award. So it's a certificate of special recognition presented to Queen Jackie in honor of your community efforts and dedication to Maryland small businesses. So yeah, I mean, I was like not really expecting it, but it was an honor, and I was surrounded by great people, and I just felt like I'm such a small fish, but when I looked around the room and saw all that greatness, I was like so honored and kind of filled with emotion. I tried not to be long winded, but as you all know, they say once I start looking up in the ceiling, they know it's going to be a long conversation.
Get the covers.
But it was really a big honor, and I'm really appreciative for every opportunity that comes my way. Even for the last couple of weeks, being able to co-host the morning show on Radio One, that's been a thrill. It's not a long-term thing, but it was a great way of getting me exposure. So I appreciate each and every opportunity. So I'm not gonna drag on about this. We do have a show to get started on, but I just wanted to share that because it was such an amazing honor, and it was great to be in the midst of greatness. I felt like I was standing on the shoulders of everybody there because most of the people that received rewards were really, really doing some outstanding things in the community. So it was nice just to be able to meet and work on different projects with other people is even more amazing. Before we start the show, I want to post this in the group later, but on August the 24th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., please come out and support me at Hearn Run High School. We are introducing a new program into the school systems by Super Solutions, and I am the vice president of the board of directors of Super Solutions. So you can come out and support us, donate a backpack because we want to give away book bags and backpacks to the children. As you know, the new school year is right around the corner, so we want to try to arm them with as much school supplies and bags as we possibly can to make it easy on the parents. So tonight's topic, we always talk about relationships and things of that magnitude. But I kind of want to talk about relationships, but on a different level. Um, I hear this a lot from people, as when you're in a relationship, sometimes, especially women, we lose our identity, or we feel like we lose our identity. Um, but I want to talk about before entering the relationship. Um, and when I say let's talk about before entering the relationship, my question to anybody that's dating or in a serious relationship, is your old relationship going into your new relationship? I always feel like we just briefly touch on it, but we never really get into it. And if I have to use myself as an example, um, I think early on I might have taken, some of my habits from an old relationship into a new relationship. And in the beginning and entering um, this relationship, I had a lot of selfishness to me, and I was of the mind frame that it was about me, 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 me. That was my attitude, and over time, it played, it caused turmoil, in the relationship. So that was like a big part of my baggage going into it, and it took a while to recognize it because I didn't think I had a problem. So many of us take different things, maybe codependency on, your parents, or um, maybe financial issues. Uh, maybe you have some mental issues that you haven't quite acknowledged. So, what, when we are entering these relationships or we're dating, what are we talking about on these dates?
Are you talking about during the interview
Doing
process?
it, yeah. I mean, and then as you see things progressing, how much more of yourself are you exposing, or are you still presenting that representative?
I mean, naturally, we're going to present any kind of representative, but because you are trying to show, you're trying to show your best.
Yeah.
You know, in order to impress that person. But after a while, there's only so much you can. The real you comes out.
Right.
Now, as far as baggage or things like that, I really think from relationship to relationship, why not take everything? Why not take everything that you learn, the good, the bad, and the ugly, into your next relationship? Because even the things that happen, the bad things that happen to you, are lessons learned that make you wiser.
I agree there are lessons learned, but should you bring, and should you bring, like in my previous relationship, should I say, or, well, when I was with so-and-so, we didn't do it this way.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. Like,
You can talk about it, but not use it as a weapon. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because if I care for you,
Yeah.
it's always going to be good.
Right.
I may not make the best decisions, but it's always positive intent.
Yeah.
And the spirit behind it. Now, some of the questions that you probably have, like for instance, if you were hurt, I want to date with you, and you were hurt, one of the questions I'm gonna ask you: are you afraid to love again?
Right, which I think is a great question, because a lot of times we hold on to that past hurt, and we want to hold the new person accountable, and they have nothing to do with that hurt. So you're already starting the relationship with mess, because every time there's a situation, then you want to bring that past relationship up. Well, he did this to me. But is it fair to the person you're with? Because they're two different people. So you've already kind of built a little wedge between you by bringing up different things that you experienced. If you're bringing it up as a learning opportunity, that's one thing. If you're bringing it up to use it as a weapon, that's a problem.
But why are we talking about doing stuff like that in the beginning of a relationship?
And that's my point.
Because if you're doing it in the beginning of a relationship, that's bad, because that's the honeymoon phase.
That's right, I agree. But if the other party hasn't let certain things go, and they're constantly bringing up the past, what they've experienced in past relationships, isn't that a sign to you that perhaps this person isn't ready to move forward? But how many of us are actually picking up on those signs? And I'm going to let you talk, but I want to read Kimberly's comment. She said, I did it when I was younger, then did some self-discovery, and never again. Married for 12, together for over 20. Never. When the bad happens, the possibility of the past will get you. And I completely agree with you, Kimberly, on that. But I think the thing is, a lot of times, I don't think some of us are actually taking that time for self-discovery. We just know that we want to get past previous relationships and kind of ease that pain, so we'll go into a new relationship with that same foolishness. And it's not fair to the new party. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Love and hear what he has to say.
Well, here's the situation. So, if we take the time to hold ourselves accountable for our own shit, meaning that we know that we're not ready to enter a relationship, but some way, somehow, we have told ourselves, we've what's the word I'm looking for?
We've convinced ourselves
made ourselves believe
right.
that we're ready.
Exactly.
And knowing that we're not ready. But at the same token, you have some that just don't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't want to be alone, you'll take anybody. You take anybody who may have just a little bit of what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and it may not be what you need. But we haven't took the time to analyze our own self to say, are we ready? What happened in the last relationship? The reason why that didn't work out, was it me? Was it them? You know, but we are so quick to say, well, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
you know, we never we so quick to want to take the sheets off for other people because we feel like that they are bringing their past into your relationship, when knowing that you are the person who was basically at the forefront.
Yeah.
It started with you. If you know that you have an anger problem, you don't need to be in a relationship. But you figure, okay, well, as long as this person don't say nothing to piss me off, then they ain't got to worry about seeing my side.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Some of us feel like that we're missing something. If we don't stay in a relationship, we're missing something. But yet, you want a relationship, but yet you don't take the time to find out how that person's doing. You don't take the time to say, you know what is it that I need to know about you now, in the beginning, that maybe you didn't share with your last relationship? What is it that I need to know now that you may not haven't told nobody? These are the things that, you know, because if a person don't ask questions like that, then the other person may feel like, okay, I'm just going to have to put on the representative. At that point, when they put on the representative, now they got to put on the representative for 2 months, 2.5 months, 6 months. When if you asking for the real now, then maybe they may open up,
Right,
and tell you how it is. The reason why some of us fear of a person doing that is because we feel like, number one, we don't want to be alone. And then number two, we feel like that if we actually took the sheets off ourselves and told that person who we really are, then we feel like that person ain't going to want to be with us.
Yeah.
So then you just wind up being right back to being lonely. So what we tend to do, we tend to sweep that shit under the rug and hope that that shit don't come back. Notice I said hope that that shit don't come back. But later on down the line, some way, somehow, that knot in the rug get bigger.
Yeah.
And when it gets bigger, it boils over, but it don't hunch you. The knot hunches the person that you're talking to.
Yeah. True.
You know, so now you got to explain yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the worst feeling if you played Mr. Nice Guy in the beginning and was just in the glam and the glitz of that person's beauty, or you know, what they said to you or whatever, and then 4 months down the line you saying to yourself, where the fuck is this person at that I met in the beginning? Where were you at? Well, you'll get something to be bold. Well, it's always been here. It's just you ain't never took time to, get to know it.
And that's a very, very good point, because seriously, we tend to see what we want to see. I mean, it's been there all along, but as you said, we're caught up in the glitz and the glam of the beauty or the handsomeness, and it's all a smoke screen. It's
Smoke
like
and mirrors.
they show you bits and pieces, but you dismiss it like that's a small thing, but that small thing grows like a tumor.
And the bad part about it is we are not dumb people. Let me just say that. We are, no matter how much we try to pretend like we dumb or crazy, we're not dumb people. All of us have seen a sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
And few ways sign that stops at the N or signs that stops at the S. We have seen both. A sign or signs that made us raise our eyebrows.
But don't we have a responsibility to ourselves to, one, kind of protect yourself, two, bring these things to the forefront so that it doesn't escalate? If we turn a blind eye, but at the end of the day, it's still something that may eat at us. Shouldn't we kind of nip it in the bud right then, address the issue right then and there?
You know what? Not everybody's mature enough to do that, especially in relationships or any kind of relationship. Well, the thing about it is, I mean, like Nate said, we're not done. We know. And I'm gonna take it to the caveman side. You know, men, we're gonna put up with it. We're gonna put up with it if the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What they say, I heard people say, everyone's crazy, but long as she fortunately fine, I'm gonna deal with it.
And I think that's a good point, because I've heard a few men saying it depends on how fine she is.
Don't be crazy or eccentric, and be average.
Yeah.
If you with a Halle Berry,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right.
But they didn't pull up with it because and I say that for more so for shock value because it's like simplistic. We will put up with bullshit if we think it's worth it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. This same bullshit we won't put up with with other people. Some people
Right.
can deal with it. And why is that? Because we made a conscious effort to say, you know what, this dude, he got his one might say, this dude, he had his issues, but he's husband material, so I'm gonna stick with him. Or there's some infidelity involved, but I'm gonna work through it because in the long run it's gonna work, and that's why we do it because we think in our hearts that it's worth it.
It's worth it. Okay. And so when you say that it's worth it, I think that everybody has their point in which it's going to be worth it. You hope. But are we accepting things that we know damn well we shouldn't be accepting?
Sometimes it's that way because you're looking at the positive versus the negative.
Right.
When the negative outweigh the positive, then you're like, I got enough. This is too much.
It's too much, right? And at what cost to yourself? I mean, because we accept certain things that we know we shouldn't, and so aren't you doing not only detriment to yourself, but to both parties?
Why is that?
I say that because let's take the infidelity, for example. And you keep accepting the same patterns. And they're going to continue to do that because you're accepting it. So the relationship isn't going to grow. It's going to, you're going to have that mountain between the two of you because you keep accepting the mess. So isn't that detrimental to both?
Well, in terms of infidelity, yes.
Yeah.
But let's say it's a plethora of issues that people can have in relationships. It could be credit. It could be the fact that this person's bad with money. It could be a lot of things, and that's what I'm saying. You tolerate up to, and everybody's different.
True.
Everybody has a different time. And if you think, or if a man thinks this woman is worth it, or the female thinks that this man is worth it, we'll put up with it.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
You reach that breaking point and say, you know what, this is just way too much drama, and you had enough.
Yeah.
And you cut your losses, and it's hard starting all over.
It is hard to
especially
start
when you
over.
invest so much time.
Exactly.
And your heart into it.
Yeah.
It's tough. Some people, that's why we say, you ask the conversation I'm having with someone who had their heart broken, are you afraid to love again?
Right.
Because I want to know whether or not what I'm dealing with. And if she says, yeah, I am afraid, and then it's me to make that choice.
Right.
Whether or not what I'm going to do or if I'm gonna try to deal with this, or if she's worth
Right.
me
That's
dealing with this or getting over this hurdle
Right.
To earn her trust.
I agree. Our guest has arrived in the studio, so I'm going to bring her to the microphone. Ms. Critique, Sharon Johnson, owner of Critique Me Boutique and Studio. So can't wait to hear her views on relationships. But for right now, we're kind of going to take a break from that topic and allow her to tell us about herself.
I'm sorry I'm late, guys. I try to be fast. Well, my name is Sharon. I go by Miss Critique. I actually changed my business name. It's Critique Empire.
Okay.
And I changed it because I'm always adding things on, so I don't just do clothing. I'm a fashion designer. I'm now a cosmetologist. Also, I make orders and I coordinate fashion shows. So I'm like a creative director. So that's basically what I do.
Okay, so tell us about your event in September.
Okay, so September is the 15th and the 16th. It's a 2-day event. The first day is an entrepreneur networking event, which is like a branding event. We're going to have like a panelist of different entrepreneurs coming together, just branding themselves, also inspiring others that may want to get information and insight on like how to start a business, how to register your business, like key points that you really need to become successful in that. Some people don't know where to get started, so we're trying to get those resources out there. Then we're also having my favorite part is what I do, a fashion and hair competition. Also, it's like a presentation, so it's people that who may not want to compete that can also just present their brand and everything like that. So that's the fun part. That's where I come in.
Okay.
I have a business partner. She's from Atlanta. Well, she's from Baltimore, but residing in Atlanta. She goes by Whole State Seattle. So we've partnered up. We've been working on these events for like 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And we travel with it. That's our goal is to travel, go back. We want to start it here. Well, we started here about 2 years ago, but we branched out to like Atlanta. We got people from like Texas, New York, Miami that's reaching out to us that we want to start traveling with. So
That's good. And
She said that's about it. That's
it's
about
a
it.
lot.
I mean,
It's a lot.
it's a lot when you're trying to do it. I mean, I try to, like I tell people all the time, there's so many people that reach out to me. I've been doing this for 14 years, since I was 17. I'm 32. So I've been, a mentor, a model. I started off modeling, so that was my thing. But I knew, this place is not going to always be young. So I wanted to I tried out for America's Next Top Model, and I almost made it, but I decided during that audition, I didn't want to model for no one. I wanted to teach it. I enjoyed teaching it, and at the age of 17, fresh out of high school, I started my own model agency. So I've been doing it ever since.
But she downplays what she does. But I had a photo shoot Saturday, and she did my makeup. And let me tell y'all know I don't really wear a lot of makeup. But when I first saw it, I was like, who is that woman? Because I just wear eyeshadow, and I told her that. But she did such an amazing job. And when I looked at the pictures that was taken, and I said, wow. I was like, she really did the damn thing. And look, and then we went to a comedy show afterwards. First I was like, I'm gonna go home and kind of like clean my face, but then I was like, shit, I look cute. And she really like just transformed me. And
that wasn't hard to do.
Oh,
We appreciate the try.
She did such an excellent job. I told her what I like, and she just took it and ran with it. So anytime I have a photo shoot, I will be giving her a call because she really did an amazing job. You can follow her on Instagram at Critique Empire. Yeah, okay. So, and I'll put that in the intimacy group as well, along with her flyer for her next event, because it's our responsibility to promote and network with one another, because that is how you build a stronger community. Um, and I try to always uplift minority entrepreneurs because our struggle is real. Um, and so we're talking about relationships, and you and I have had some brief discussions, but I want to ask you, how hard is it being an entrepreneur and maintaining a relationship?
Well, it is hard. Like, for me, I always said that if you're in a relationship and, well, you're an entrepreneur, first of all, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of time. And I'm a single parent right now, with 2 kids. So that's more time, you have to balance. So for me, it's all about balance.
Okay.
Finding, I feel like I always said if it's worth it to you, you'll make time for it.
True.
So for me, I want someone who's like in the field that I'm in, or at least it don't have to be in cosmetology or the hair field or fashion field, but they have to be an entrepreneur. They have to be a go-getter, at least a worker.
Right.
Because that way they'll understand a little bit more about what I have to go through.
True.
So when I say, okay, I gotta work 12 hours out of the day, or I gotta go out of town for the weekend, I travel a lot. That's my thing. Like, my goal is to live my life free. I don't like boundaries. I don't like, being regulated to certain. I like to be limitless.
Okay.
So for me, it's about, just working together. Like, honestly, I look up to like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Like, to me, they power couples.
Right.
Because I feel like, what I lack, you're supposed to pick up that slack.
Absolutely.
So, us coming together, like, I want a relationship where if we're together or not, we good. But I feel like when you're together, you can be even much better.
Right.
You're going to be great, not just good. But for me, that's pretty much it.
Okay. That was good. You had something to say, Dr. Love? No, okay. So we're talking about when you first enter into a relationship, do you bring your past relationship into that relationship? Like, what conversations are you having as you are getting to know that person? That's what we're talking about right now. So.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. You know what? No. I mean, I feel like it's good to know the history. Because then you figure out what you're dealing with. I always like to ask some questions, but at the same time, I don't want to dwell on your past at the same time. So give me a little bit of information. I might ask you, like, well, what happened? You know what I mean? Of course, 9 times out of 10, people not going to be 100% on it. Because it's one side. It's always, I always say it's 3 sides to a story. Your side, the other person's side, and then the truth.
Right.
Somewhere along the line, it get mixed up. But I would not want to, stay in the past. I would be like, okay, that's what happened. Then I know what I have to do. And then I work towards that.
Okay.
And just try not to. I don't believe in staying in the past. I like to move forward.
So are there any lessons learned that you brought from your, because not everything's about.
Can you speak up, sir?
Speak into the mic.
Are there any lessons learned from your own relationship?
Sound like waka.
It's a lot of lessons learned. You know what? I always say that don't force a relationship. I feel like when you force relationships, you end up doing it for the wrong reasons. And I also say, be yourself. Like, you gotta also be careful in how you pick your spouse. Some people go off the image.
True.
What's good, what they feel like the people, want to, who they feel like they want to be with. Or I'm gonna go with this person because they got a PhD, or I'm gonna go with this person because they got a couple dollars or whatever. But that might not be the right person for you just because of material things. For me, I'm not a material person. For me, it's like I don't have to ask you for anything as long as you give me time and show me a little bit of love in there. I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I like to do my thing. I don't like to just. I'm not gonna sit on one spot. I don't like to be booed up all the time.
Right.
I need my space. I'm gonna give you yours. Just respect me.
Right.
But for me, it's like, yeah, that's about it. He don't have nothing to say.
And first of all, let me just tell you something because he's never quiet.
Listening. I'm listening. The thing about it is I'm listening because the one thing that I was going to say before she walked in is that we have blinders. We tend to have blinders on our eyes, and there are times that we tend to have the deaf ear. Now, some people may say, well, what is the deaf ear? Well, the deaf ear is when you have a person who's close to you that sees that person is not good for you, but you turn on the deaf ear and say, you know what, I don't want to hear that. I because you've already programmed in your mind that this is the person I want to be with.
Is it that, or do you know that there's truth in what the other party is telling you and you don't want to look at it?
See, here's the thing. Sometimes, one thing in my years of living, that you have
That's
to,
really
you
been a
have
long
to.
time.
Really?
That was so weird.
Really? You
I
almost ready to get
But
Social
first
Security and
of
you want to
all,
talk
let
about
me
race?
just say this, because Quiet Storm, he
are-
said that as if that's been such a long time.
40 years is a long time. 40 years is a long time.
Okay.
I see when I was 39, I wouldn't talk no shit like that. But 40 years?
When you was 39, you was messy as hell.
Don't fucking judge me. Fucking judge me. I thought this was a no judge zone.
It's not judgment, it's a statement of fact.
No, fuck, that ain't no goddamn fact.
Okay.
Anyway, no, what I'm saying is that you have people in, let's say, friends and family that don't even know a person and already prejudge them
True.
because they may not like them.
Yeah.
They may feel like, prime example, let's say if I went to meet you took him to meet your parents. And then you brought me to meet your parents. Now your parents know me, but they may say, nah, that big guy, he may look like he a player. But it's just something about him with them glasses that they may say, look at this character, that they may say, you know what, why don't you go with the one with the glasses? And not knowing the two sides. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
That I could be the best thing for you, but he could be the one that really takes you through shit.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is, listen, you have to analyze for yourself on if this person is right for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So let's say if the person is right for you, and you listen to family and friends, now you done lost out on something that could be great. You understand what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying that family and friends don't don't tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? And then there's times that you have to find out later on down the line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then you gotta go back to them, because they'll be sitting there waiting like, what's up?
Told you.
What's up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? This time last year I told you. That's the kind of, but see, then you gotta judge if you want to put yourself in that predicament. Because I don't know anybody who's, unless you really like to hear the truth, will go back and want to have to hear that. Some people don't want to hear that. Some people don't want to hear that I
You
told
don't
you
want to
so.
hear it. Yeah,
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
And like you said earlier, some people already know, but they're not in touch with the reality of it.
Exactly.
And they just
Exactly.
ignore it
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
I will definitely agree. And I think
because she fine enough for me to put up.
that's what y'all men
Exactly.
keep going back to.
She cook a good steak
The
and can hook
fine.
a steak up. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, for you it's fine. For you it's the food, as long as the cooking is good.
She can hook a steak up.
And let me put this out there, because there's
As
not a
long as we
show.
look good- as long as we look good in pictures.
Long as you can cook,
Olin Mills.
long as you can cook, as long as you are accepting of teabagging this joker. So
Hold
and
up.
it's
Hold
not,
up.
that's not shade.
Now.
That is a statement
No,
of
listen.
fact. Because
Listen.
let me tell you something. Every show he has to talk about about it. I'm like, I've never seen anybody so
Because
obsessed
I want
with
to.
being
I want
teabagged.
to. I want to. No, I ain't. No. Did you just say being? Did she just make it seem like that I
Oh,
want?
my bad. I
Did you-
mean,
did-
my
did-
bad.
did you
I
read
did
that?
make it seem
Shady,
like
my
that was
Did
kind
that?
of shady.
Oh
wasn't
my
it?
God! She took me through the bottom.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
Shut up, bitch.
well,
No.
he loves,
Teabagger or teabaggy?
he is the teabagger.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the teabagger. So, but I don't know too many people obsessed with that as much as he is.
I'm just trying.
I'm not saying Kim. I mean, Kim said, "There we go."
I'm just trying to educate the people. You know what I'm
Nobody
saying?
really freaking cares about the fact that Dr. Love likes teabagging.
Listen.
No one cares.
Listen, y'all. Listen.
Only
I
your woman should care.
I want to educate the women. You know what I'm saying?
We don't care.
Stop settling for 69. Stop settling for 69. Go for 77
And I don't like
because you get 8
77.
more.
Oh my God, I like that. That was a good one. That was really good. He been working on that all week, saving it for the night because he knew we had a guest. So he wanted to come with some new shit. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to say that shit last week.
He been saving it up.
Listen, I wanted to say it last week, but every time our guest last week was talking, I felt like I was getting thinner and thinner.
Oh yeah. Last
I felt like I was
week we
getting
had
thinner and thinner.
Tyler Little on. He's a fitness guru, scientist, nutritionist, and he was giving us tips on better health and better sex as a result of better health. From a male perspective.
No.
Yes.
He was giving us so much that it made me want to start questioning this gum. Like, I see the nutrition's facts, but motherfucker, you could be hiding some shit.
That's right, exactly.
Damn.
But it did make you kind of want to, when you go grocery shopping, you want to start looking at the contents of what you buy. I felt like the more he talked, the more I was shrinking in this chair because a lot of things that I'm not supposed to do, I'm doing. And when I asked him, okay, how can I get my my sugar lower? And he gave me a list of things I needed to cut out, and I'm like,
Son
that's
of
all
a
the good
bitch.
shit.
The devil is a liar.
And that's how I felt. The devil is a liar. Like, I don't even want to entertain what you're talking about.
Deaf ear.
Right,
Deaf ear.
exactly.
Right.
But don't we do
Deaf ear on
that
shit.
same thing in relationships? When people tell you that, oh, she's this and she's that, and you don't want to look at it because you put everything you had into making this relationship work, and you really don't want to face the ugly truth. Yeah. And a lot of times I think a lot of times for women, what I find a lot of times in women is we don't want to push the envelope because we don't want to be alone. I don't know how it is for men, but we will tolerate a lot more for the sake of saying we're in a relationship. And it doesn't always come down to looks. It could be sex is good, the financial independence, or the financial dependency on that person. So we overlook a lot of things, and it takes us a while to get to the point to say this shit isn't working.
It's the same way. It's the same way with us men. If you have a man that is a mama's boy. Now let me clear that up. A mama's boy, like me. I'm not a mama's boy, but I love my mother. You understand what I'm saying? So, you try to be up under her, and it's just the comfort of her holding you. You know what I'm saying? So, especially if you have a man that has lost his mother, you try to look for a woman that has that same attributes as her. That can hold you like her. That can make you feel safe and secure, like her. So there are men who don't want to be alone. We men put up with certain things that we know that we shouldn't put up with, to keep from being alone.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just not the women. It's they're men too. Some men don't want to be alone because they got a sexual appetite. Some men don't want to be alone because they can't cook, and they're so used to that woman cooking those delicious meals, because if not, they'll be eating fast food. You know, there's some men that don't want to be alone because they have that fear of growing up where you know they didn't have their parents. You know what I'm saying? So they always want someone in the household. You know, someone in the house with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you'll get a conversation like, "Hey, I'm on my way home. What you doing tonight? You wanna come over? Hey, I'll cook. We order Chinese food or something." Like, they'll do anything they can to persuade that woman to come over just for comfort. You know what I'm saying? Now, while they out and about at their job, it never phases them. But when they know that they have to come home and it's just them and the home, you know, then it brings on anxiety.
Okay.
It brings on anxiety. They just don't want to be alone. That's why you find a lot of people. You got some people that like pets, and then you got some that want just the thought of having a puppy or a kitten or something in the house, an animal.
For company.
For company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we you know, I was that guy, you know, that just felt like I really don't want to be alone. You know, now there's times that I've said, you know what, it feels good, but then it's like those rainy nights.
What is it about rain? It's so funny because
I love rain.
my cousin always says that it's something about rain that gets her in the mood.
Yeah, it's a word for that. I think it's pluvial fire where people like rain. I don't know about getting in the mood, but I like the calmness of it.
Okay.
But that's the thing. I
Getting
mean,
wet.
just to piggyback on what Nate's saying. You know,
Piggybacking.
just because you know.
Come on, get on my back.
I know, right? Just because.
That was a visual that I wish that didn't even step into
Really,
my
Queen?
mind.
Really, Queen?
Saying.
Really?
It's hard to unsee it. But you know, I mean, just because we big and cute, don't mean we don't got feelings.
I realize that. I realize
But
that.
let me
Okay.
But let me ask you.
Okay, say that again.
See, but let me ask you this. It sounds like, based upon the man, the type of mate that you like, it sounds like you want somebody to drive and somebody. Well, first of all, are you in a relationship?
Right now, I'm not in a relationship.
So
I was married at one point though.
Okay, so you want somebody with some drive who's secure in himself,
Right.
who's not, who gives you your space. You know, so based on that, how much nurturing are you going to do in a relationship? How much are you going to do to make a man feel all eyes on me?
You outguess.
So how much would you do in a now this is a man that you know is a good man and you know.
Then we talking relationship.
That relationship.
Because dating, I feel like.
Oh, no, we talking about somebody.
Relationship. If we're in a relationship, I'm gonna be attentive, 100%. Like in my marriage, you know, I was always in. I was taking care of the household. I mean, I was working post office, so I was working 6-7 days a week, coming home, still cooking, cleaning, taking kids. You know, I was doing everything.
But it sounds like you're a different person now.
I definitely am.
Okay, so
I don't believe in settling.
So the new you.
The new me.
How would you deal with a man who is sensitive and maybe is a good guy but may not have the same drive or as you? I mean, no, I wouldn't even put it. How nurturing are you in this situation now that you are dedicated to your career?
Honestly, I feel like I would be the same way.
Okay.
I would still be the same way. First of all, I'm under children at heart anyway. Even with my friends, like I try to motivate them. Oh my God, really.
He's so extra.
So extra.
Yes. Okay. Who is that
I mean,
guy?
that's
on you.
I feel like any woman should motivate their man. I feel like queens inspire queens, and queens are supposed to motivate their kings. So I feel like if it's something they want to do, whether it's a career, something they want to do in life, I'm gonna motivate you to do it. Now I can't make you do it. They have to want to do it. So that's you still need drive.
So you support their dreams.
Exactly. Because I'm gonna want you to support mine. So it goes both ways, give and take. I feel like everything comes with sacrifice. So I'm willing to sacrifice time, I'm willing to sacrifice anything, but at the same time, I have to get that in the same, it has to be the same way.
So as far as sacrifice, what are some of the deal breakers? Like, what can you not sacrifice? Can we talk about just like kids, or what is too much to sacrifice?
My kids are my kids. That's a package deal. Okay? So, no, I don't sacrifice my kids at all. You get me, you get them. Now, it is time, like, if you say, look, you're working too much, I want you to slack up a little bit, yeah, I can sacrifice that. Family, like I said, I'm good with balancing. I try to be. That was something I had to work on, though, in my past relationship. I've learned that. Like, I feel like over the years, I learned more about myself as I grew up. I feel like when you're young and you act fast, I was that kid that was told from the family, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. I never listened. I struggle with that. I'm learning to listen. I'm learning to do that. And I moved quick. Out of that, I got 2 beautiful kids. But things ain't work out. All I asked them to do is be a good dad. That's all I did. And, but other than that, I just move forward. Like, I live free. So they have to understand that I'm not going to just be locked down. You know what I mean? You gotta be free with me. Which means, that's gonna be some sacrificing. You got some people that's private, and I'm not secret. I don't do that secret stuff. So, I'm right. I am, but I feel like I'm fair.
Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah, try to be honest. I do show. I'm like very passionate, so I'm aggressive. So I mean, with me, it's like if I really care, then you're gonna tell. It's gonna show. I'm gonna be very aggressive about how I care about you. I might argue a little bit. I'm not putting my hands on you.
Them out of your
tire.
Yeah. So at least you can pump it back up.
But it's
I
funny
didn't smash
because
it.
I wouldn't do that.
Kim says you have a clear vision, and I think that's a wonderful thing because sometimes people are still trying to find themselves.
And I think that's like I said, over the years I went through some things. Mm-hmm. So I've always like kind of knew what I wanted. As a little girl, I was that little girl that wanted kids and wanted a husband. I had that early. Yeah. But it was still a learning process because the person that I was with at that time was not ready for me. Okay. And we grew apart. Like when we were younger, it was cool. It was that young love. But when we got older, it was just like, oh, this is not it.
How old are you now?
32.
Yeah. Old soul.
Yeah.
I mean, you get that a lot of people think.
Yeah. That's why a lot of my friends be like, well, a few of my friends told me like, you need an older guy. I don't want older guys.
Yeah, because I think that I know when I was dating, most of the guys my age, listen, don't fucking come for me.
No, you come for me. You come for me. I'll come for you.
Most of the guys my age coming up, we were not on the same level. And I think that goes back to women. We mature a lot faster than men. So I remember one of my childhood friends told my brother, your sister better marry an older man because a young dude might knock the hell out of her with all her mouth.
I've been told that too. Yeah.
So, but I never really, could connect with anybody my age. I always connected with older. And, some of the friends that I hung around with, they were always older. So it wasn't a surprise that I would marry older.
Let me say this though. I feel like sometimes with older guys, you kind of, because sometimes they're stuck in their ways.
You
So,
can break them out.
That's
Not
always.
Well, men, period.
always.
I think that men, period, they feel like because they are men, that they're not as open for change. I feel like a lot of times. I feel like that
Yeah,
ego shit.
in their eyes.
You know, don't be looking up in the ceiling. I feel like a lot of times ego comes into
Inspiration from the
play,
angels.
and they feel like I'm a man. You know, listen to what I'm telling you exactly. But you know, women, we have intuition, and if we tapped into our power, we've learned to trust that intuition, and we're always going to try to do what's best for the relationship. I'm not saying that men won't, but I'm saying a lot of times ego comes into play with some things.
Ego is
Yeah, egos be the devil.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the devil.
But you know, it's like, because when you describe all the things you did, especially starting off at a young age, what drove you to be so ambitious at such a young age? Because I feel like if there was a wiki page about you, you'd still be in early life and career.
Yeah, yeah.
And it seems like there's a lot more to come. I get that vibe. But you started early. What made you have that drive? I mean, you had inspiration from other women in your family? You had people you look up to? What fueled your fire?
My drive comes from my mom. My mom has always been a hard worker. Even as a single parent, she took care. I'm the oldest of 3. Well, actually, I'm the oldest of 5. And my dad had 2 more outside. But I was a Rolling Stone, young big girl. But you know, when I was younger, I always felt like I had to be a role model for my sisters. So that like drove me too. Right. And then on top, I was home. You know, my mom had to work, so I had to. Like nowadays, you can't leave kids in the house by themselves.
Hell
You know
no.
what I'm saying? I mean, I was old enough, but you know, I was that oldest one. We cooking, we clean, we gonna make sure the house is clean. Cause my mother was crazy. We had a piece of lint on the floor. She was going crazy. I don't want to hear her mouth. So you know, things like that. Like I watched my mom. You know, she worked. You know, every day and took care of us. So that was a person that I looked up to definitely. But she always worked. And that's one thing I didn't want to do. I didn't want to just work. I also wanted to live. Like my mother never been outside of the state. You know, I've been telling her I'm gonna get you on a plane, you know, a boat. She don't want to get on no water, no cruises. But those are things that I look forward into doing for her. You know, because she took care of us all her life. And you know, I look up for people like Oprah, of course, Tyra Banks, Naomi Campbell. Those are people that I look up to.
Okay.
Businesswomen, entrepreneurs, you know. So I mean, I guess I always say I'm gonna be the next Oprah Tyra.
That's right. And we've had her on the Intimacy Chronicles. But it's refreshing to have someone young on the show with such a clear vision. You already know who you are, and you can foresee where you're going. So I think you're already ahead of the game. You're ahead of a lot of people because you know that already, and you're still working hard towards achieving everything that you want to accomplish. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. I try to remain humble. I be told, like, I guess because I know, like I say, I'm sure of myself. I get like, you are sure of yourself. And they confuse confident. I feel like I'm confident.
Right.
More so than
arrogant.
You know, like I said, I get that all the time. Well, you're very arrogant. You're very conceited. I know because I'm not that type. I'm very humble. Like, I'm the type of person, like, if you call me and ask me for advice, we could be doing the same exact thing. Shows, networking events. I'm gonna give you advice.
Yeah.
You know, even though some people will charge for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start charging for my consultations. Let that be known. You know, 'cause that's another way I make my money. But I've helped so many people, and I don't look for credit. You know, I don't look for that in return. I just be like, okay, if I could see them on TV or see them, you know, doing big things, then I'd have made it too.
Right,
know?
that's true.
And it might not be my time, you know, but I'd rather work for it. I don't want nobody to hand it to me.
Right.
Is your mom like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna work for everything that anything she ever wanted, she got. And I think that's why I'm so, you know, I'm so good with like not settling and I'm really picky. My mother said I'm real picky when it comes to men. But I feel like you have to be, because if you just choose anything or you're willing to settle for anything, you can pick the wrong person.
See,
You
I always
know?
think that's your problem. Y'all have standards. And
I don't have. It's not
Women
about the
shouldn't have
standards.
standards.
First
It's
of
not
all,
about standards.
Why we need all our teeth?
You
Why
don't.
we don't?
you can have two. If you have a good heart, you can have two teeth.
Right.
And
As
like,
long as your heart is
come here, girl,
good
let's go
and the
out.
sex is the bomb.
You want to
Because
You want
see,
some swim?
exactly, but in your teeth, I don't have to worry about you
Dumbing that
biting
shit
on
down.
me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't always come down to looks. You know, I think I think when you get older, your standards change. You're not gonna.
Change.
I say no. It kind of you become more aware of who you are, so you know what you're not willing to accept. You know, so it's not for us being picky. We made a lot of bad choices, so we kind of tweaked some things. We started working on ourselves and understood that some of what we attracted was the energy that we put out there.
Yeah, energy
You
is
know.
important.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
talk about that.
yeah.
What kind of energy y'all are putting out there as women? So what kind of man are y'all gonna attract?
Well, honestly, for me, energy is everything. Like one thing that I actually have worked on for myself is like finding peace. I need positivity, all positive energy around me. So I do a lot of like first thing in the morning, I'm up 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm working out, I'm walking. You know, I do this little message of the day thing. You know, to try to uplift other people. Like I say, I got people that look up to me, so I try to motivate them. And even if I'm going through some things, it can be on my mind. I don't like to spread negativity, so I try to I always say try to turn a negative into a positive. So whatever I'm going through, it might help somebody else.
Okay.
You know.
So you ever get in a situation where you just feel like, damn, I'm not feeling nothing. The hell with being positive. I know it's just too much to deal with. I want to be negative. I just want to be petty. Do you ever feel that way? And if you do, how do you get yourself out of it?
By rechanneling my energy. Like if I start feeling myself becoming negative, or if I feel like I'm around the wrong type of people, first of all, I always say you are who your surroundings.
That's
so
true.
I try my best to surround myself around motivatable people or motivational people. People that inspire me, so like to stay positive. Positive people. Like every day I get up and I look at social media and stuff like that. I only follow positive people. If it's people on there and they doing all this, after this and that, they smoking this and all that, and they showing that, that's not who I look up to. I follow like Erica Campbell, Sarah, J. Roberts, whatever her name is, Roberts. People like that uplift me, and just it's a lot of people out there that's doing the same thing that we're doing. So for me, I know I sound all holy as hell. I'm not really not.
No.
I'm not that. I don't go to church every day. All that stuff. But I just know who I am.
Yeah.
So I just know that I'm not gonna settle for anything. So I don't. If you negative, I want you away from me. I tell my mother, and another thing for me, I need to be positive because I can't be stressed. I get migraines, and I don't want
Okay.
them.
Right.
So
right.
I try to. If I feel negative vibe, I'm out.
Yeah.
I will get in my car, ride around. I will go, I like to be by water, outside with nature and stuff like that. I
Okay.
really do. So I find peaceful locations and I
Does
just
that
chill.
include the tub?
Of course. I will go, let me tell you, I vibe out in the tub. I go in the there. I will have my candles lit and my wine. I'm good.
All right. That's what I like.
So you say
You have to protect your space, though.
You was talking about advice that you like to give people advice and you charge.
I'm gonna start charging.
You'll
I
start-
have
you'll
not
start
yet charged.
charging.
I'm start charging.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if you took food stamps. Oh, don't sleep on the EBT. Oh, you know what? Everybody wants to sleep on the EBT when you ain't got no groceries. And you see the little.
I ain't sleeping
You
on
see-
it.
you
And let
see-
me
you
put
see
this,
them things
let
on
me put this
Facebook.
out there in the universe.
Who got the EBT
if
card?
anybody got the EBT card,
Hit me up.
inbox me.
Shit, I can check my balance.
Oh my God! I'm just saying we're not sleeping on that, and whatever works. I mean, hey, but I like what you said because that's the one thing I'm always talking about. You have to protect your space. I'm really into energy, and if I'm around people and I don't feel right, I'm not gonna stay in that place because my energy is very important to me. How I feel, I can be petty in a matter of seconds, you know, and once it starts, it's kind of hard to scale it back because I'm out for blood then. So to avoid that, I have to be mindful of the people that I'm around because everybody knows I'm. Don't look at me like that, but everybody knows I'm Queen of Petty. So I always try to be positive, and so I'm very protective about people coming into my space. And I think that.
I'm surprised we still here.
Oh man.
Well, and let me say this, because somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago, how come you don't have any female friends? And I said because growing up, I grew up with mostly boys. My sister and I are very close, but I have close relationships with cousins, but not. I don't really. My closest friends are men, and it's always been that way. And I think the thing that I can appreciate about those friendships is that we can be brutally honest without all of the sensitivity. You know.
I thought you were gonna say, "Well, why you don't have no female friends?" Because I don't, bitch.
Well, I mean, for
Because
people
you
that
can get petty.
I make that known every show that I can be a little petty. I'm working on it. Just a little.
A little.
You know, just a little
I
bit.
think it's I'm the same way though.
Yeah.
Like, I've grown up, I had sisters, and I had a few female friends, but I was quick to like,
Yeah.
cut them off. But like, it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience for me going to hospitality school. Last year, I did that. Quit my job at post office and hospitality school. Right, sure did. And I'm living my best lifestyle.
Leap of faith.
Leap of faith. That's it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm here, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
But it being in a building where it's like over 40 something females, that was tough.
Yeah.
And I was one of the oldest ones in the classroom.
Mhm.
So for me, it was like I was like a mentor. Everybody was.
Okay.
I'm trying to separate them, So I had a lot of girls that clinged to me
Mhm.
and looked up, and I was real. Like I didn't tell everybody what I did.
Okay.
Even though teachers, it took me a minute for me to even tell. I wouldn't even tell them if I had a show. So for me, it was like okay. I saw that it was a lot of females that go through a lot of like anxiety.
Yeah.
They suffer from self-esteem.
Mhm.
And for me, I wasn't. I mean, I was around people growing up that went through those things, so I kind of,
You knew what to look for.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, dang, it's so many people that would rather talk down on another female.
Of course.
How does that make you feel better about yourself? But a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So for me, I never was that girl though.
Okay. Let me read a couple of these comments. Kim says, you have one here, hunty. From the first time I met you, Jackie, I thought you was cool. Bridget says, it's easier to get along with men. Females are often catty and competitive. Hi, God, Mommy. Thank you for joining me. And I think that's true. I think sometimes females are catty because of their own insecurities, and they can't handle seeing another female being successful. It's not so much that they dislike that person, but I think a lot of it is that they're upset with themselves because they haven't figured out what direction they want to travel into.
If they're inherently miserable,
They want you to be miserable, and they can't understand why you're not. And I think that's another reason why I always gravitated towards men. I am very brutal a lot of times with my delivery of things, and it's not so much as to hurt somebody's feelings. It's I don't have time to sugarcoat. And the same way I present it, I want you to give it back to me. I mean, him and I have had discussions where, he might have came at me, well, Queen, and I have to stop and listen. Do I always like it? No. But I definitely want you to give it to me the same way I'm going to give it to you. You know, even talking to you as far as business and all, you said some things that actually made me think. And I'm not saying that I don't get that same honesty from females. What I'm saying is that I might get it, but they may kind of tap dance around what they're trying to
It
say.
just sounds better coming from me.
Exactly.
Is that what it is?
Thank you.
Oh God.
Yes.
There,
That's what you do.
there
And we're happy
egos.
to give it to you.
Yeah, but in the same sense. Now, let me say this. Now, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna be petty, but I'm not gonna be petty. But I mean, there are times where we can have a discussion, and I might like really go in. But when we leave the table, that's where that shit stays. Women hold on to things. Yeah, exactly. And I am definitely a person, once I say what I have to say, come on, let's go have cocktails. You know? So, yeah, and they say please be petty.
I'll take the tail. I'll get that. I'll take the tail.
No
I ain't
comment.
going to.
I don't like saying that word.
They are so extra right now. I'm telling
Well,
you.
let me ask you this question. I mean, you say you have two children. What is it, girl or boy? Two girls? Okay. So my question is a two-part question. First question is, God, what are the ages?
10 and
10 and 8? Okay. So, first question. What do you feel, or what kind of legacy do you feel that you want to leave for your daughters? That's one. Second question is, in the world that we live in, that we're living in, what are you teaching your daughters as far as survival?
First of all, that's a great question. Legacy-wise, basically what I'm doing now. When I decided to go to cosmetology school, I went already with a plan in mind, and that was to eventually one day open up my own salon. With that, you know, like I said, I do designing, makeup artist, I teach model etiquette. So the moment my oldest daughter was 1 year old on the runway. So, you know, I always believe in helping your children find their passion. That way, when they're older, they're not just doing whatever. They're not going to school to waste time for something that they're not going to be doing, you know, at the end of the day.
Right.
So if you find what it is that they want to do early on, you help them towards that. So my oldest daughter, she loved modeling. She wanted to be an entertainer.
Okay.
She's a dancer. She do ballet, modern dancing. She's been trained by the best. So those are the things that we work towards. So I'm not going to have her going and try to be a chef, you know, when I know she's good at this and this is what she
Right.
want to do. I'm not going to push her to do that. I feel like when you push your child to do something that they don't want to do,
They rebel.
they rebel.
Yeah.
You know, just like you can have a child that like doing something, and because you pushing them too hard, they don't like it no more.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, I'm the type of person, like, I live free, so I want my kids to live free, you know? So, that's as far as the legacy, I want to leave something behind that they can, you know, take over a business. That's why I have Critique Empire. They're going to run that one day.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching them all of this. My daughter, she teaches the kids the dances. She teaches the adults routines and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
So, you know, I know that's something she want to do. My youngest one is into art. So for me, it's like, okay, I do makeup. That's art. She takes interest in that. Even with fashion design, she wants to there and watch myself. I will show her how to do it. That's taking over the business. You know, so I just try to install morals in them. I let them know, like, anything that you want, you can have it. You just gotta work for it.
Of course.
You know, I'm not gonna give it to you. You know that. Even though they come, I can have $1 for a little store around the corner. I give it to them, but you gotta work for it. What you gonna do?
Right,
What you gonna do
exactly.
to get this?
I like that.
You know,
That's
so I try to
awesome.
install them. They're very, very smart kids. You know, school, they're honor roll kids. And I was an honor roll kid when my father was real strict.
Yeah.
Me
I was
too.
that first child, so they were stricter on me. By the time you got to my youngest sister, it was out the window. But You know, I mean, I'm just installed the things that I was raised. You know, I feel like if you raise right, then you can raise your children right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
That's true.
that's legacy. What was the other question?
As far as like, okay, like I'm born and raised in Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
so you see a lot of females who didn't have a mother or father in the home, and they grew up, I guess, having to defend themselves. But in the city that we live in, there's a lot of guys who feel like they didn't have a father to teach them right from wrong.
Right.
And just feel like that it's the word, because see, I don't say this word, so that's why it's hard for me to say it. Now, I will take the sheets off myself. Like, you would really have to make me upset for me to say this.
Another visual that I
You feel what I'm saying? Anyway, but the word is bitch.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And my daughter is 11 years old, and she's standing 5'7", 5'8". One of the conversations that I've had with her is, never let a man call you a bitch. Period. What are the because now it seems like with these guys out here now, it's a norm.
It is.
It's like they you talking, spitting, or whatever. That it just comes out like that. Oh, fuck you, then, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like what I've taught my daughter that you're a queen. Remember that you're a queen, and by you being a single mom with 2 girls, is it more hard in the city of Baltimore? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like I try to show them that, you know, number one, you have to be stern. You can't allow anybody to disrespect you in any type of way. And I don't really, like, my kids don't see, like, if I am seeing somebody and stuff like that, unless I really know that they're going to be there. Like, my daughter actually asked me this, because I was talking to a guy, and they know if I'm getting dressed and I'm going out late at night or whatever, where you going? And I'm not going out. And I don't take them around anybody.
Okay.
So they'll be like, well, if you're gonna have me meet somebody, can I ask them one question? It's my oldest daughter, 6 years old. And I said, what's that? She said, the only question I would want to ask them is, are you gonna be around?
Okay. Wow.
And I thought that was like a powerful question from a 10-year-old. Because at the end of the day, you don't want somebody that's going to be in and out. You can't keep, as a woman, you should not show, especially when you have girls, that you got this guy in the house, then you not that guy, then you got another guy. So I don't do that with my daughters. Like, and I don't believe, like I said, I was a wife. I mean, I was with the same person for 15 years. So for me, I'll jump, like, if I'm dating somebody, I'm straight in life mode, because that's just how I am.
Yeah.
So, I don't do I'm gonna date this guy, and I can't date 2, 3 guys at once. I don't see how some women I know do it. I can't do that.
Right.
So if I'm with you, I'm with you.
We don't see how Jackie doing. But shit.
Jackie might not
Oh, you don't know
that.
Jackie like I know.
Don't do that.
No,
But
You on your own with that shit.
About to get popped. But that's just what I do. I just try to lead by example. Like, you want your kids to, see you doing the right thing, But I just try my best. I don't try not to show them that, just don't let nobody talk to you in your type of way.
Of course.
They've seen that with their dad. I don't let anybody talk to me in your type of way. And with that, girls are daddy's girls.
Yeah.
So in that situation, I was the bad
person.
one.
Yeah.
Because they seen mommy fussing, and me, I'm not the type of person. I'm not gonna be like, oh, your daddy did this and your daddy did that. I never did that. Never did that. Like, I let them see for themselves. At the end of the day, when they get older, they're gonna see.
And they will see.
But I never said, well, your daddy did this, and this is why we're like this and this and that. I don't do that. Even with him, like, if he calls me sometimes. He's gonna be positive. We're good. We have a conversation. As soon as you want to be negative, look, I can see you're having a bad day. I'll talk to you later.
Right.
That's it. And that's how I carry it. I want you to just be there for your children. And he is one father that I can say, like, he teaches them those things. I feel like even if as a single parent, I want my kids. I'm not that type of person that's gonna keep him away from that father. I don't care what he did. You know, as long as you respect me, you know.
Right.
But you have to, because I feel like a daughters need their fathers in their life to show them what type of man should,
Yeah.
you know, because you can have a man that might not be a good husband, but he could be a good
He's
father.
a good dad, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I give him that credit. But other than that, I mean, just show your kids the right thing. That's all. You quiet.
He is. I'm like, because he is in awe right now.
No, and that's she's right.
Yeah.
I only want to ask you any questions because I'm not easily impressed, but I am thoroughly impressed with
Yeah.
you have you got a spirit with you. You have a determined type of persistence, which is really refreshing to see. Amidst all this stuff and all the things that we have to face. So like I said, I'm really impressed with your outlook. I'm impressed with and life ain't perfect,
Right.
but
I'm not perfect at all.
Okay,
He's definitely impressed.
Now I feel better.
I feel like I sit next to her now. You ain't perfect, but no,
He's definitely impressed.
and I say that with the utmost respect. I mean, you demonstrated that, and I appreciate the honesty.
So on this side of the table, we're trying to figure out why the hell your octave keep going lower and lower and lower.
I said if your octave go any lower, you gonna blow the fuck up.
Hey man, thanks for joining me.
His octaves ain't never
He
went
does
that
have
low.
a bedroom
Fuck
voice,
no.
but wait a minute. He has been incognito all evening, and I want to know where the real quiet storm is.
I'll be here. I'm here.
You here?
Shit, the motherfucker look like Clark Kent. Take the glasses off, bitch. Become Superman, goddammit.
Are you gonna be the drummer boy tonight or not?
No.
Okay. I just thought we would ask that. Yeah. He plays the steel drums. So he's very good at it. And
Tin Man.
the Tin Man, right. I do like that.
I
So
know my wife was like, so you don't play no more?
right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm glad wifey saw it.
Right. Tell her good looking out because we need the Tin Man to get his mind right.
No, I mean, I knew we had such a compelling guest today.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to take anything.
You want to get that fucking tin drum wet.
Say it.
That's what the fuck. That's what the
Say
fuck
it
it is,
again.
Queen.
Say it
You
again.
don't want to get that tin drum wet.
The drum. I like music.
Yeah.
Old
Okay.
fashioned. So,
Dr. Love was gonna belly dance. We had already talked about it, but you done messed that up.
Jackie, allow me the rest of my life to make it up to you.
As you wish.
I can support that.
Now,
Now this
Yeah.
is our part of the show where I guess we get jiggy with it.
I know it was coming.
You know it was coming,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. So he's been waiting to let the dogs out. So
now you have been an entrepreneur. You have been an example for your kids, and a great mother, and a great attribute
I'm
to
proud of it.
the
Whatever.
people who's trying to model with their bony asses. Anyway,
I do thick girls too.
she did,
No
yeah.
discrimination.
Okay.
Exactly.
Define do.
Thick.
Go in the telephone booth.
Should've bought them drums.
Tell him again.
okay, so here we go.
Yeah, he's always unpredictable.
Yeah. So we. Oh, listen. All of our guests have taken the chopping block,
Okay.
and now you're about to be on the chopping block. So, one of our shows we talked about fetishes. I'm sorry, you ain't catch that the first time.
Yeah,
I know you caught it the first time. I know you did. Your pinky toe curled up. Anyway, what is your fetish? Now listen, I need you to stay in one mic because I can't keep trying to go around the mic because you keep dodging. You know that? What is your fetish?
Fashion.
Sexual.
Are you shy now? They got a fit. Come on. Oh, shit.
You like the
Let me
dress?
zoom
You
in.
like the dress up?
I do like. You know what? Okay, this is intimacy. Some intimacy. Or whatever.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hope I ain't ready.
Okay. Oh
I'm
my
glad I
God.
didn't get that on camera. I'm glad I didn't get that on camera.
No, like really with fashion, like and intimacy, it goes together. I like to look good for my man. So underneath of the clothes, I like the matching. I like
Okay.
the lace. I like the holes and stuff
Okay.
like that. And I mean, and a fetish. I like my tool stuff.
What? I swear it was on my mind. I knew you were gonna say that.
I did. Like I got pretty.
Oh my God, that is so
always
funny.
end up doing that. So I don't.
What does that do for you?
Did he just take his goddamn glasses off? Wait a
It
minute.
makes me feel good.
He took his glasses off.
This motherfucker rubbing his eyes. Ain't that
Okay.
Rubbing my eyes.
Yeah, right. This motherfucker got on contacts and glasses. I want to see what she got to say.
Oh my God.
I'm
No,
sorry. So back
appreciate your
here,
honesty.
Back to me. I think that's it.
That's it.
you like both toes?
All of the
You want a
toes,
motherfucker
damn
to
it.
put both feet in his mouth. You want to impress me? Put both feet in
So
there.
are you sucking his toes as well?
Depending on how they look.
It depends.
Yeah. Depending on the mood.
If you take care of yourself, first of all, I like a groomed man.
Okay.
Like I like a man that's gonna take care of that stuff, cause I take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm gonna look good for you, you gotta look good for me too.
Okay.
And not just out for somebody else. Like not when we just go out. Like you come home in the bedroom, I want you to, add on some nice little boxes, briefs or whatever. Not them old boxes, not them loose.
Not the tidy whities either.
Pretty much.
I like
Yeah.
I like the nice fitted boxers.
Yeah.
Like briefs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some cute.
Any favorite character in particular?
It don't have to be a character. It could be a
Snoopy.
color.
No Snoopy.
I
No
mean,
Randalls. You still
I think
wear
it's
them.
funny when you go outside the box. I don't want to see white underwear every day.
Exactly.
Some Calvin Klein or
Right.
some polos.
Okay.
So what is it that you won't do in the bedroom?
I mean, only thing I'm not doing is sharing. I don't believe in threesomes.
Okay.
That's the only thing you're not doing?
That's the only thing I'm not doing. I'm
Just
very
threesomes?
spontaneous.
Okay.
I'm very spontaneous. I feel like for me, it's like I'm gonna give you everything.
So you up for teabagging?
Oh my God.
Hell yeah!
Did you see the excitement? Man,
Hell yeah!
I think we're gonna have to
Listen,
get
you are
some
welcome
work.
back. You are welcome back anytime.
He is so
Hell
addicted,
yeah!
addicted to this teabag. I've never met anybody like that, and I'm not judging.
Look,
You know, we like what we like. But goddamn, every damn show.
I mean, this bitch on the Cabbage Patch.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
No, because
So,
you never meet women who
teabag.
no, not saying that. Is that women these days have become picky. They'll only do certain things in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? They have limited their self of not wanting to fully fulfill their man's needs.
Especially
Is
if you're
it
in a
picky?
long-term, especially if you're in a long-term relationship. It's like
Let me-
I would think you try everything once, right?
Let me just ask this.
I actually says that. I say that all the time. I will try anything once. I'm not sharing.
Yeah.
I feel like when you allow somebody else in your bed, like that's energy right there.
Oh yeah.
And for me, like first of all, I can't deal with anybody if I don't have a connection with them. I can't. Like if there's no connection there, if I'm not feeling it, it's cut.
And
Which is a great
understandable.
point, because you said women we are picky on what we do in the bedroom, and I'm gonna say that a lot of times, is it that we're picky, or maybe that we're just not that into
that
you?
person, exactly.
No. That when you're in a relationship, if you're not into me, then you should have told me that shit a long time ago.
But there you go. That it's a lot of people that settle.
Exactly.
Like you say, if you want to be with somebody just because you want to be with that person, or if you're going off an image, or you're going off of whatever reason you with that person, they might not be satisfying you the way you want them to.
Right.
But you're going to still sleep with them because you, as a man, that's what y'all want, right?
Sometimes you don't know any better. You think
Exactly. And you get
that's as good as it gets.
it's
Right.
as good as it gets.
Right,
And then you find
exactly.
out there's another level. You be like, okay.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, and so some people have no idea
And that's
what
why.
what
Right.
a real relationship when you connect mentally and physically.
Exactly. And I think that when you share that connection with someone, a lot of times there aren't any limitations because you've already had that connection. Now, you're looking at me, and I guess because we're going back to this teabagging thing, but in my relationship, that's not an issue. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a request.
It's not a request. Exactly. It's like, and first of all, if he requested it, I might fucking cry, you know.
Oh, it's gonna be some hesitations in this
I'm
motherfucker.
gonna try it, but like I said, I might be crying. You know, like, oh
No,
God,
it's gonna be some
man.
pettiness coming
I
in this
might go
motherfucker.
and I might get in the
You fall
shower.
on me.
I might get in the shower and take a long ass shower with the hopes that he's gonna be asleep by the time I come out. But don't fucking
And you
judge
know
me.
what? And it's funny, because he'll be right there like,
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Carol, the eagle has landed. The eagle has landed. Tonight is
But
the
I'm
night.
just saying, I mean,
I drunk a Red
oh
Bull.
my
You thought I was
God,
going to sleep
Lord
in.
have mercy. Right, that's it. Joke up and I had a Red Bull, a couple of shots
drunk
of
a Red
gin,
Bull.
and I come out, I'm all wrinkled from being in the water too long.
Look, I can
and he's
sit- I can-
standing at attention, or he's standing on the side of the bed, like, assume the position. You know what I'm saying?
I can see Mr. Hurl now like, listen, we're going to get teabagging. But I ain't going to put my weight on you because I just drank a Red Bull. So you know I got wings. You know I got
Lord have
wings.
mercy.
Ain't that
Man says,
damn.
don't expect 100 if you don't give 100. It's not that, man, and that's a very great point. My point was, if she's not or he's not into you, there are some things he's probably not or she's probably not going to be willing to do. If they are totally into you, then they're going to be open-minded to try any and everything that you're interested in trying.
And you let me tell you, because we had another young lady on the show, Portia, who was just like you, that just would try. So
Try
basically,
anything.
you basically saying that when it comes down to the bedroom, you'll do anything except for
I'm not,
threesomes.
I'm not doing a threesome.
You ain't doing no
I don't
threesomes.
believe in
So
sharing
so
my
that's
man.
that's
Yeah.
out of the picture. But
Out
if you but so that means you toss your man salad.
I'm spontaneous, so I mean, and if he wants
Good
that,
answer.
like I said,
Yeah.
if he's pleasing me, and if that's what he wants, as long as you pleasing me,
Right.
and you doing what you gotta do within that relationship, and I'm not just talking about sexually, I'm talking about meeting my needs as far as time,
Right,
as far
right,
as you know,
right.
give and take, all of those things. If you you laying it down, and you bringing home the bacon, and I'm good, I got a roof over my head, all that. You can get whatever you want.
Does it have to be bacon? Could it be salt?
It could be turkey bacon. I like
Could it be salt pork?
I like that. I've had men to be like, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. I eat bacon, I don't know. I will make you turkey bacon.
Yeah.
I will make you
No,
chicken.
no. I'm glad you said that because see the guy we had last week told us the turkey bacon is worse than regular bacon. You might as well just eat regular bacon. Ain't that up?
You have to find, but let me, because I did my
Damn you,
research on
Tyler!
Yeah, we're still feeling the effects of Tyler.
You
Thank
damn
you very
right.
much,
You
Tyler.
damn right. I look at that
but-
turkey bacon in my refrigerator like, you know what? I'm
But
gonna
you have to make
eat
sure,
you and
yeah.
I'm gonna be done with you.
Oh my God.
But with your turkey bacon, you have to make sure it doesn't have any nitrates. I think that was the point that he was trying to make. But I mean, I may as well just continue eating my pork bacon.
And eggs.
And eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. After the show, because Harold has been off. He's been off for the last 2 weeks. So, and he cooks breakfast every damn day.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm not talking just eggs and bacon. It's grits, eggs, sausage, bacon, sometimes a pancake or whatever the case may be. Um, and
Almost done.
my bad, I got distracted. I kind of I hate nigga shit. But anyway, it's like I like when he's home because I get that big breakfast, you know. And so after the show, I was thinking about the egg thing. I was like, oh, wait a minute, because he says he eat 12 eggs a day.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Now I could, but he works out, so he needs that protein. Yeah, but I thought about that in terms of eating, and I was told that I should have had more than 2 per week. So every day last week, eggs was included in my breakfast. But I didn't eat them every day, but probably I added 2 more days to that.
You know what? But since that show, you know what I did? I was kind of like already on it, but I made a point to do like green leafy vegetables.
Okay.
And just watching what I was putting in my body.
Yeah, it was an eye opener.
And it first couple days was kind of hard, but my body kind of reacted to it. So
Yeah,
now,
that's true.
Now it's like, I don't need like coffee in the morning for work. I'm like, I get up and I revitalize. I mean,
Yeah.
But it's just, it does make a difference if you put junk in your body.
Yeah, and you have to take baby steps, I think.
So I
Yeah.
kind of like just said like, okay, on the weekends, I'm just going to do eat my
Look out!
Yeah, and that's what he said he does. Yeah.
And so, and I think, and I think, like, even like in a situation where you take that as we get older,
Right.
And he's absolutely right. You do have to watch what the amount of stuff that you put in your body.
Yeah. Now, since the show, I will tell you that I went, bought some fresh greens because I am trying to do 2 to 3 servings of greens per day. So I cooked a big pot and I've been trying to stick to that. It's not easy, but you have to make changes if you want to live better. Better health, better sex.
It's all about the
So I'm all about that. I'm just saying, don't fucking judge me. I see that look that you're giving me.
I'm not.
So we're getting ready to wrap up the show, and I'm going to start with my guest, Ms. Critique, and ask her her final thoughts on love, relationships, business, anything you want to close out with.
Well, business-wise, I say look better, feel better. So if you look, do your hair, get your nails done, pamper yourself, you'll feel better.
Okay.
And as far as intimacy, I say be authentic, be free, be limitless, and if your man is doing what he's supposed to do, be free to get him that back. Yeah, be spontaneous.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like that. Quiet Storm. Yeah, put your glasses back on. Clark Kent. He probably is. Ignore him.
Like I said, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for
And I
having
think, like I said, you said a lot of things and a lot of the right things, and just continue to, do you, because like I said, I think there's a lot more in your life. There's a lot more for your story, as it needs to come. I mean, it's gonna go on. She's 32 years old.
Yeah.
Black don't crack unless you be cracked.
All right. Oh my God. Before we get to you, Dr. Love, give your contact information.
My contact information is Critique Empire on Instagram and Sharon Johnson on Facebook. I also have Critique Designs LLC on Facebook, and we also have The Making of a Boss Lady on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Okay. And let them know also if they needed to come and get their makeup done, where
am I at? Right now, I am at Heaven on Earth. That is in Woodlawn, at the Dugwood Shopping Center. You can contact me at 410-258-0011. I'm a Visa Weaves, makeup, and them crochets. I'm like really like starting to be doing that a lot. And I'm into like the natural hair thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Let Dr. Love give his final thoughts. Be
You
brief.
know me. You know me. But thank you for being a part of our show. You have an old soul, so you know, in the direction that you talking and going in, you can't go nowhere but up. You know, as long as you don't let nobody throw that fork in the road, you know, you can't go nowhere but up. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Mr. Sensational. Final thoughts. Show your face. Say something.
Got a bad hair day, so I'm still.
It looked like somebody was pulling his hair and stuff. Like he had some rough sex and they was just pulling his hair all which a kind of way.
That's a
Things
typical
happen.
weekend.
Things happen. What can I tell you? Things happen.
Good night, YouTubers and Facebookers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week. Oh, by the way, we will be at Corinthians next week, 1724. I'm sorry, not 1724. 7107 Windsor Mill Road. We will be there from 7:30 p.m. to 9. Come out and have some great food, great sex talk, great drinks, because Devin will be working that night. So we're going to get it in. Hopefully it doesn't rain. It's been raining like every Monday, it seems like. Good night. Thank you. We definitely got to have you back.
There should be a button
We
on the bottom
enjoyed
that says
this.
stop.
Hit the X up top.